always a fun cut to go through. So right here are the rocks, and right here is about 3 foot shallow. So we have about this much space to go through, and it is looking gorgeous, but it always looks like the bottom is right there. There's about 15 feet of depth right here, and it's kind of like going under a bridge, except way, 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 way tighter. And we're through! Oh, what a beautiful day. Motoring in a complete lack of wind may feel like every sailor's nightmare, but in truth, there are plenty things to appreciate about them. It is a day we can sit on the deck and watch the water go by peacefully. It is a day that we can get laundry done without getting bashed around, so it frees us up for the fun things when we're anchored. A day to get some good cooking done so we can eat as soon as we get to our destination around dinner time. And of course, to sit back and relax and listen to some D&D podcasts like the nerds we are.
No, Oof, it's fine. No, it's fine. This is your cart, your rules. We can talk in orc, it's fine.
In between all the fun we're having, there are times that we're on the boat and we have free time, so we might as well get some things done. And one project we've thought about for a long time is replacing our lifelines. So for those who don't know, a lifeline is basically this guy here. It's what stops you from when you're standing on the boat. You can kind of lean into it. They are attached to, they're steel braided wire that basically run from the front to the back of the boat. And they're somewhat soft and flexible, but definitely you are holding onto steel on both sides. They connect to these stanchions, which are basically these metal posts that run along the length of the boat. And basically they protect you from falling over. They also connect to what's called the gates. So these are what we use to, when we're on a dock or even when we're pulling up on the side of the boat. Well, one of the reasons we're getting rid of this is that this is really hard to open, but these are called pelican hooks, and these clip into the lifelines and clip into the gates, and that's how you open and close the side. So we can open both of these if we want to get off the side and don't want to go off the back for some reason. And yeah, in general, the lines, we can see there's a bit of rust. We're not really sure how old these are, and we can already see there's parts where over time, you know, maybe it hit a dock or there was a lot of pressure on it. And we can see the lifeline is a little bent. So generally speaking, we think it's a good idea to go ahead and get these replaced, since, you know, we want to feel confident in these things that are protecting us from falling over. So we've spoken to a lot of people who've actually changed out from steel braided wire over to something called Dyneema. Has a lot of names, but basically it's a very strong type of rope or line that once it's stretched to its final length is actually just as strong as steel is. Much softer on the hands, much easier to work with, and actually we think it looks really nice. So we've got all the parts of it ordered in. So one aspect of it is that we need to figure out how to splice it together. So how do we actually kind of make it these semi-permanent loops and things like that to actually attach to the stanchions and replace all of this lifeline. So that is what we're going to be working on. So the kit that we have basically comes with all of this Dyneema that we need to splice into our new lifelines. So this is going to replace all that steel braided wire. We then have these, which are going to become our new gates. So the way this is going to work is that instead of the pelican hooks we have now, basically this part here is going to go through the stanchion. This will be kind of fixed, and this is the gate here. So to open it, you pull this down over, then this part comes out, and to close it, just put that back down, you put that over there, and it stays taut because the line's going to be pulling on this end, so that's basically it. It's a very simple mechanism for how to get the gates open. Finally, we have these pieces here, which are basically, we're going to run lashing line through these to basically tension the new Dyneema Lifeline and allow it to be stiff. So when you're leaning against it, it's not bowing away from the boat, but it's keeping nice and level, and you can hold on to it. And for that, we have this very thin lashing line that's going to go through these holes to help lash it all together. The kit also comes with two different colors and sizes of line. So this is what's going to be most of the lifeline that's going to be effectively static. And this is going to be the line that we're going to use for the gates themselves. So the reason this one's different is that it's a little softer because it's going to be moved more often. So you can see that this one is much more bendy, while this one is pretty much going to stay static and only really opened while we're splicing it. That's basically it. You want the gate lines to be a little more flexible so that you can open the gates easier. We've never spliced before, so we don't really know what we're doing here. Before we start messing with the stuff that we actually want to use for our lifelines and potentially mess it up and not have enough to actually complete the project, our friends kindly lent us just a little bit of line so that we can actually play around with splices, get a feel for it, and anybody watching this is not a how-to because I've literally never done this before and just learned it. So we're going to show how to use basically this, which is called a fid. You use that to basically feed the line through the splice that you're trying to make. And there's this other tool, and it's called a something that I don't know the name of, but it use that to basically feed that into the line, as well as you can use it to, when you open up the line, use this to basically create a guide of where is the thing going to go. Where is the new line going to go, and where is it going to exit? So we can use that to both figure out, basically mark out that section, as well as push it through towards the end. So we're going to give that a shot. Okay, so first step is to get the line buried into the fid so that it won't come out as we're doing this process. I believe this is what you're supposed to do, so that looks good. Now the way it usually works is that what we're going to do is we're going to basically open up a section here so that we can actually feed this into the middle of the Dyneema. So you can see that it's basically, once you open it up, it's hollow in the center. And so once we've made that opening, we can stick the fid inside of it. We gotta make that a little looser. And then as we go, the fid is just following that open section in the middle. And we're feeding that on. And so this is not measured yet. When we actually do this, we should measure out exactly where we want to enter and exit. So just as an example, we're going to go stop here. So now we can just bend the line. We can get the fid through. So here we are at the point where the fid is still connected. Sorry, the line is still connected to the fid. The fid is through the thing, through the opening. And we're just going to pull that through. As long as it stays connected, we won't lose we won't lose the inside line. So let's keep pulling that through like that. Make sure we have a lot of space. And so now basically the line is buried inside of itself. So you can see that this right now is free to walk back and forth. But if we tighten that up, basically now when there's pressure in this direction, this is squeezing on the inner one. So if we tighten that up all the way, okay, well, I can't pull in this direction. I can pull in this direction, and this one will have to tie a little knot here. And there's definitely more work to be done, but we've at least done our first start of a splice.
And while we practiced our splicing and learned all the right names for all of our tools, we continued to explore the rest of the Exumas. During our last visit to the Bahamas, we didn't really get a chance to spend a lot of time exploring what is one of the major tourist destinations in all of the islands, the Exumas Land and Sea Park, a 176 square mile protected region established in 1958. It was the first land and sea park in the world. So this was our playground for the next few weeks, and man, were we not disappointed. From just the incredible number of size and variety of fish we saw, we were blown away on how healthy the coral looked. We spotted the fish that we'd seen before but always enjoyed looking at again. And we spotted the occasional shark also, which we watched from a very safe distance away. Our real treat came with these beautiful, beautiful creatures. Spotted eagle rays have this distinct marking on their back, and amazingly, it is like a fingerprint. No two rays have the exact same mark on their back. As incredible as this was, we were quickly shown an example of the type of explorer not to be. Don't do this, please. Don't startle the wildlife to get in their face for a good photo. Let them be, and swim with them in peace. A big thank you to our Patreons Madi and Kristen and Justin Fagan.